Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Shawn Jones Show, where we cover everything on Rebel Hill with the South Greene Rebels football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Shawn Jones. Coach, how you doing?
Doing fine.
How was camping?
Well, camping was fine. I hadn't done it in a couple years, and it kind of just happened this year. Somehow Tito Estabile, we got an extra week, and the way Memorial Day fell, it was their off week this year, so it just happened to be that way. So when I found that out, it was late, so I decided to go. So it was good to get away, And last week, as far as practice here, it was hot. We got put into shells for 2 days because of the heat, and we had a bunch of sickness, so it was really good. You hate to have your off week 2, because you go 9 straight the regular season, but it worked out really well for us with all the sickness we had, and I had starters out all week in practice, so it worked out really well. So come back this week ready to go and ready to get that bad taste in our mouth from the first week.
You got Cumberland Gap coming up. We'll go ahead and talk about it a lot more in the second half, but I want to talk about it a little bit in the first half because we've done these interviews 4 years in a row on a bye week now, and when you're dealing with a bye week, there's really nothing much you can talk about. You can talk about, like I did with Coach Case last week, how you can work on some things on your own that you want to fix from the previous week in week 1, dealing with some sickness, dealing with some players that are banged up. You get that out of the way now. You get to the week of the Cumberland Gap game, you had a little bit of time to prepare for it on the bye week too. What's your mindset going into your first region matchup?
Well, the big thing is about having, you play one game and off is when you come off a loss. Last year we come off a win and it felt a little bit better, but now you're just itching to get back on the field. That part is, kind of got the boys going. So, we started last week preparing for Gap, because that's our first conference game.
Yep.
You got to start out 1-0 if you want to win the conference, and if you start 0-1, you probably ain't going to be at home if you do make a playoff. So it's big. So we put some study time in with Cumberland Gap. They're struggling a little bit right now, so we hope to go up there and take advantage of that and come away with a big W Friday night.
And it's important to get that first win too, because if you look at the conference from a broader point of view, it's a tough conference this year. It's tougher than it has been in a lot of previous years, where it kind of came down to the Hampton game of who was going to get the 1 and 2 spot, and you were already guaranteed a spot in the tournament or in the playoffs at the end of the year because there were only 4 teams in the conference. We talked about last year, it expanded to 6 with Eagleton and West Greene moving in, and now you've got a much improved Happy Valley team. You've got a Hampton team that's just as good as they usually are, and now you've got an Eagleton team that didn't graduate any seniors and are bringing back another very good ball club with a lot of experience. So it's important to go into this game with a clear mindset too. Do you think that worked in your favor, being able to clear your thoughts a little bit after week 1 going into that first game?
Yeah, that's the things you had to take care of, and they always say you make your best improvement or the most improvement each year from week 1 to week 2. So that's what we're looking at. We talked about that this week at practice. But again, the biggest thing is that conference game. You win that first one, and then you feel like you just got to win one more to get to the playoffs, the playoffs, and then you start positioning yourself based on later on in the season. So you got to get this one under us, And we've talked to the boys how big it was, And we didn't play bad at Crockett. We gave up some boneheaded penalties and just kind of got gassed a little bit. And then again, both of those are my fault. I told the boys, I said, you're not been in shape as much as we'd like for you to be as me, and then the personal fouls and stuff that we got is on me, and we worked on fixing that and being held accountable for that kind of stuff, because we can't have it moving forward. We can't have those kind of stupid penalties if you want to win ball games. So that's the kind of stuff we worked on us. That's a good thing that you do in the off week. You kind of work on yourself, and we was able to do that last week in preparation for a Cumberland Gap.
I want to talk about the conference a little bit more too while we have the opportunity to do so, because we can kind of preview them at the beginning of the season before things kick off in week 1. But you've seen each team play 2 games now with West Greene, Cumberland Gap, Eagleton, Happy Valley, and Hampton. What's your thoughts on the conference so far and how things are shaping up?
Well, like you say, I think it's going to be a little bit more even. Happy Valley's playing well. They have lost some kids, but they just keep chugging along there. They lost their quarterback, I think, in the Clallam game to the ACL. I talked to the coach of the day, and they actually lost a few in the preseason to other places. So they're going to be tough. Hampton's Hampton. Coach Burns and I was able to go up Monday night. Their game was suspended from Friday night and watch it play. It's kind of crazy, really. It'd be nice to get Hampton early in the year because they're struggling just a little bit, but it's going to be a different Hampton team in 9 weeks, and that's what drives you crazy as a coach, because Hampton's going to get better.
Yeah.
I promise you they are, but so they'll be right there. Like I say, Eagleton brought everybody back. It's the second year of the school, so I think they had a couple of seniors last year, maybe kids that transferred to that school that from different ages, but they started their school with actually starting out with a freshman group and made their way up. So this will be their first graduating class. So and that's just and then West Greene, West Greene showed some flashes. Cumberland Gap, they're probably the one team that you wouldn't probably say is up there the rest of them. So it's just going to be tough. You got to go week by week, and you got to take your teams that you're playing that week and not take it for granted and game plan and do what you're supposed to take care of business.
Your schedule kind of gets harder as you go along too, because you start with Cumberland Gap and then you get West Greene. If you win those two, then like you said, you could talk about where your seating is going to be, because you win those first two, you're locked in. Now you can talk about, okay, can we host a home playoff game? Can we host two? How many can we host after that? And it gets a little tougher going into that Happy Valley game, that Eagleton game, and that Hampton game. So it's pretty crazy how the schedule kind of lined up.
Yeah, this is the way it is. You win two, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You win the first three, you're like, all right, now you're for sure going to get a home playoff.
Yep.
Because all you got, I take it back, you still can win, finish third. You win that fourth one, you got a home playoff. You beat Eagleton, you're sitting there 4-0, you just got Hampton left. So it's one of those things where each week you kind of know each game that what you need to do to get the playoffs and get your seeding or whatever. Most of the time you're not sitting there. In some conferences when you got a bunch of teams, you may be sitting there trying to figure out who beats who to play and where you're going to seed. But when you got small amount of teams like us, usually week to week you pretty much know once you get to the end of the year what you need to do to get where you need to be. So that's the thing about it that is interesting in two-way with us, just having that many teams. So, but hey, we're gonna go line it up, play it, and see what happens each week. And
the good thing is too, you've been in the position where you control your destiny the last few years, and you've got the opportunity to do that this week against Cumberland Gap. Got to win the first and then go 1-0 as we talked about. Before we preview them a little bit more and talk about what you can expect on the field, we need to go ahead and take a break first. So we'll be right back after word from our sponsors here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee. For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Shawn Jones Show, where we cover everything on Rebel Hill with the South Greene Rebels football team. As always, joined here with head coach Shawn Jones. So you've got Cumberland Gap this week. There's one thing that we always know about Cumberland Gap. They're going to line it down and they're going to run the football a very high percentage of the time. That's how their offense has been for years and years and years. Do you expect to see the same going into this game?
No. It's kind of crazy. No, it's kind of different, They're going more spread, and they're trying to throw it around a little bit and run some what we call inverted option. I mean, they're going to run it, but not near like they have the last few years. And really got the same kids. They've added a few. It's kind of crazy. I think last year they come here like 25 kids. They got a new coach. They're up to like 52, but they're all young kids. And I told my team today, it's quite interesting. It's been years since I've been down there. 3 years ago when this bunch was freshmen, that's the game I had COVID, so I didn't get to go. So I haven't been to Cumberland Gap. It's been years. So I told the guys today, we'll go over and play well, at Cumberland Gap. When the school first started, I think the first 6, 7, 8, 9 games, we would beat them at South Greene, and they'd beat us over there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Cumberland Gap was the first team that win 2 in a row. But the thing about it, for many, many years, each team didn't win more than maybe 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So it's been a very, very competitive series since Cumberland Gap's been around. They are down, got a new coach, and we need to try to take advantage of it this week.
And I know they're, like you said, they've got a new coach too. Offense is a little different. Is the defense any different?
It's kind of crazy. They're sending 7, 8, 9 kids, and they're playing cover zero across the board. Yeah, I mean, the first 2 games that we've seen, I don't know if they'll change it up. We don't think they will, but I would think their philosophy is they're going to try to send more than you can block and get in the backfield before you can get it off. But the thing about that is if you can get one crease or if you can just pretty much throw the ball up because they're in zero coverage, then you can get a completion on them. So it is totally different than we have seen the last 2 years where they played that, or 3 years where they played that smash mouth football and tried to hide the ball and you didn't know where it was going. So it is totally different this year. But it's stuff we've seen, so it's not going to be anything new that we haven't seen.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it kind of nerve-wracking going into that game? Because a lot of times you go into games where you can just look at last year's film, if they've got the same coaching staff, a lot of the same kids, and you know what they're going to run based on what you saw last year, the year before, and the year before. Was something new this year? Is it kind of nerve-wracking going into it? Or
no, I mean, the thing of it is you actually feel better because you've seen this stuff. You know, the last 3 years, you know, they'd hide the ball well, you know, and even, you know, 3 years ago, the first year down there, it took us a series or 2 to get going, and then, you know, the last couple of years. So that's the thing about it. That is a little interesting. They're running more stuff that you know that you can prepare for. So it seems like it's a little bit easier to prepare for them this year.
I remember that was the joke last year. We placed an over/under how many pass plays they would have.
Yeah, I think they had 1 or maybe 2 this year. They are going to throw it more. You know, they started out. They had I think his number was 8. The little quarterback that started. We think he got hurt, and we feel like the quarterback that's in there now, number 11, is a little bit better. He runs a little bit better, but they still, you know, what the stuff they're trying to do. Again, you can tell they're young, and again, you know, we feel we're the better team. So if that's the case, in the first conference game, you go take care of business, get the W, get back to South Greene, and prepare for next week.
What are your 3 keys to the game this week when you take on Cumberland Gap?
Well, you know, we feel like we got the biggest thing is not have the stupid penalties. You know, we can't have the stupid personal fouls and the offsides, and that's just a mental thing. It's a discipline thing. We can't have that. You know, we got to start fast. You know, we feel like we got to start fast, and then if you do that, you take care of business, and you know, win the turnover battle. If you do that, those 3 things, we'll come out on top this week.
It's exciting. The games matter a little bit more now when you get into region play.
That's right.
And you got Cumberland Gap this week. Have to take the bus trip up there. It's not too far of a bus trip. There's further bus trips, of course, that you can take.
Yeah. We got to go to Union County in 2 weeks after that. So
that's right. That's exactly why I said that. So enjoy the bus trip this week. Not many bus trips, but they are fun sometimes. Are you driving the bus?
Oh yeah, I do. It's kind of crazy. It saves us a little bit of money. I hate to do it, but I'm so stingy with the money, so I was like, yeah, I'll drive. So yeah, I'll drive. And another thing, I do my thinking when I'm driving up there. I don't have to worry about so it don't bother me to drive. But yeah, I will be driving the bus. So
one thing I wanted to point out also, week 1, what did we have? Did we have cutoff? Did we have a cutoff?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
This week, I don't know if we can see. We've got barefoot Shawn. Yeah, there we go.
No feet today or no shoes today, and that's always interesting. My buddies want to. Try to tell me how to dress. So I think this year, every week, I'm going to try to do something different and see what they can figure it out. You know,
all right, we've had cutoff Shawn, we've had shoeless Shawn,
and had the toboggan Shawn last
year. We got to have like shirtless Shawn or something that'll just shock everybody.
Yeah, that could I could do that and see. I don't know if people out there would like that, but I mean I could do it. I've done this long enough; it wouldn't bother me.
I might get in trouble too allowing it to happen, but if it gives everybody a laugh at the end of the day, then hey, it's all worth it.
Well, that's exactly right. There's some photos of me floating around there from a few years ago on vacation, so I'll do anything. So it's not too bad.
I know exactly which ones you're talking about. But I'm going to let you go on that one, Coach. Once again, I appreciate you. Best of luck on Friday night. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Shawn Jones Show. We look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.